And hello to all my Gemini friends. I'd like to welcome you in. My name is Scott Sagent, and today I'll be doing your free Psychic Tarot reading for December 2023. Now today they've dialed up for my great Geminis, a storyline spread. A storyline spread is a great spread for general readings because it casts a very wide net across the entire sign of Gemini. We're going to be telling multiple stories for different Geminis going through different things in their months. It's like a bunch of mini readings all in one. And the whole idea here is to find the story that is for you, that is right for you. I've had people tell me that sometimes multiple stories do and will resonate with them, but that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's really all about finding that one story that is all about you and is a home run. We're going to do that here today. It can also be about anything. The field is wide open. They can talk about health, work, finances, love, whatever they want. They've asked, though, that I conclude your reading with no extra spread at the end. That's usually a good indicator that you guys have a good control of what's going on in December. Less is more. If the less information that you need, the less that Spirit feels that they need to give it to you, the better off you usually are doing things on your own. However, we will conclude your reading with the Rune Stone. We will also do some moon cycles at the end of your reading, which will be out of this world. You do not want to miss the moon cycles this month. Also concluding with homily, guys. So we're going to get started right now. The cards are already shuffled. I do that ahead of time to save us all a bunch of time. I'm going to bring you in the overhead so you can watch. I'd like to share my table with you and show you what is going on. And there we go. We are live and recording. All right, Gemini, these are my ritual cuts, cutting each deck into thirds, putting them back together in a separate order. It satisfies the ritual aspect of tarot. Same procedure for personal private readings. It's just like you're here with me now. And here we go with your storyline. Any storyline spread starts with 5 base cards. These are your core 5 cards, arguably the most important. This deck is also known for making very large storylines, so it's interesting to see today what is going to happen with that. Because there's our 5, but we are not done yet. We need to keep going. Is this one on screen? I can't see that the way that the camera holder is blocking me. So I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that'll stay on screen. Let's keep going. And we're still going. And we're going to go off screen, so I'm going to come down here. Still going, no facing. Still going, not facing the right way. Still going, not facing the right way. Let me see how many cards I have now. There's 6. Yep, so there's one more. Okay, still not done. So we're going to possibly go all the way, which is one more card. It's going to be off the screen at this point. And yes, that's our maximum. I told you this makes large storylines, and it did not disappoint. It used every single card, the maximum of 12, that I go. So now I got to get pairings, facings together, which is very difficult to do since there aren't really any. Ay, ay, ay. We're going to have one story right here. Another right here. And then out of these 3, that's going to be one story. So there's 3 stories, guys, but they're chocked full of information. I was going to yank the camera off there, but I'm not done with the card work yet, so I can't do that. All right, these 2 are pip cards. They're just going to share 1 extra card for extra information. Now I'm covering my gemstones. The Emperor is a major arcana card. He's going to get 2 to describe him. My hand is all my hands are all beaten up from car projects, so excuse my my battered hands here. They'll get the job done today, though, just fine. This is a pip card. It's just going to get 1 card to describe it. Coming over here, my Princess. In other decks, this is a page. They do say that is about a person. Okay, what is that person doing? They're doing that. These are 2 pip cards. It's going to get 1 card to share. More information there. Coming over here. A lot of work has been done with the chapters in these videos, guys, in case this is something you want to skip that you're not interested in, but a lot of people like to watch this, so I leave it here. But there's a lot of chapters that you can check out, or more importantly, go back to if there's something that you missed and want to check out one more time. World card's a major arcana card, going to get 2 cards to describe it. And then my card work is done. I'm not tacking anything onto the ace because we are already full. Check my blockages. This is a distribution that's not going to matter. I already pulled the Angel Oracle card right now for it because it will not matter. Coming up here, still not enough to matter, so I'll pull that also. That can go like this because I do not read those inverted. And then coming down here, this is where we have a lot of blockages. 5 out of 9. Not enough to matter, so let's grab that last Oracle Angel card and we'll get to work. Let me try to show you this because I know that's out of screen. That's going to be story 1, very large story. go to story 2 over here. That'll be story 2. And story 3 is going to be this long guy. Very long. I'm going to kind of pan across so you can kind of see everything. Attempt to read it. That card is a Prince, a Knight in other decks, and Ace of Pentacles. Okay, now we have the fun work, Gemini, of deciphering and translating all this to make some sense for you. Here we go. Story 1. Story 1 talks about a hesitancy about leaving something behind. Maybe you feel like you should leave something behind, but if you're really just like, oh man, I really don't want to do that. Or I don't want to get this person out of my life. I really, not a good time. Or like if it's a object or it's a belonging, something like that. I really don't want to sell the family house. It means something to me. It has emotional attachment. I don't want to sell the car. I think I can get another year out of it. That's the kind of energy they talk about here in story 1. Okay, so if that sounds like you, this could very well be your story. That is the attachment card. The next thing they talk about is patience. So you're probably right in the fact that you don't want to act right now. It's actually probably better to wait, because they bring in temperance, which means patience, long story short. And probably that you've been doing a good job of that. But we need a continuance of that all the same. The next thing they show here is my 6 of Swords. Okay, so interesting here. This is moving things in a positive, better direction. They can talk about some medical stuff in here too. Very interesting. If the story makes sense to you so far, they would be saying good balance medically here. So maybe some of you have been worried about something with your health, and here Spirit's saying it's actually just fine. It's checking in okay. At least right now it is, right? And it's also moving things into a smoother part of the river, so to speak. You know, less of the struggles, less of the rapids, if we're going to the river kind of analogy there. You know, it's things getting smoother and moving into good waters, so to speak. This can also be a card about travel. Some of you Geminis may be doing some traveling in the month of December. The next thing we have here is the Emperor. Now here's where they show that you are kind of letting something go here, not being very boss-like or authoritative where you really should be. You really should take charge of something here, and you're not. I'm not sure why. Oh, they're saying it's not you. Don't worry, it's not about you. But it's about somebody else that is very close to you. Okay, so this person needs to take charge. They need to get their life together. They need to figure out this stuff. They bring in the Oracle card not for you, so that's how I know that. I mean, it's pretty clear in the translation what they're talking about here. Now, they're giving you an opportunity here, Gemini. They're telling you about somebody else. Now, this is for your benefit. Maybe theirs too. Maybe there's a way that you can help them out, let them know about this, and help them in a loving, guiding way. Otherwise, it's just giving you information so that you understand maybe where they're coming from and stuff like that. We have the energy here of the Hoarder card, really holding something in, not wanting to let something go. That kind of sounds familiar. It's kind of where we started, except this is more financial or health related, kind of like keeping something in where it's like hoarding, like where if it's actual hoarding, where it's like saving stuff for way too long, it's just not beneficial. That energy gets very stagnant, very hung up. It's not good. And it's also Spirit's way of saying that this person has permission to spend here, to get rid of stuff, to sell stuff, and to spend. It's like opening things up. It's like you don't got to hoard everything in. It's actually time to open things up and let things go for this person. Now, it's interesting because when we started, we were talking about you. Now we're talking about this other person. This other person is going to get this last card, and then we're going to go back to you. They bring in the card that is the physical injury. Maybe this person got hurt. Maybe they feel a little bit beaten up, or maybe they feel like somebody is just over their shoulder all the time, and they don't like that. They want a little bit of space. They're not getting it. So that's to understand their part of it, of things, and things that they can improve upon. And maybe you too, give them their space, help them with their injuries. Going back to you now, just to be very clear, they bring in a new chapter in your life coming in here, Gemini. Very exciting. It could be a work thing. I start with work because it's a Wands card. Workplace is the work corner is a big part of your life. It's work, business, enterprise, area of study, collegiate courses, retirement if you're of that age, entrepreneurship, for most people the job, but also learning new things, hobbies and interests. It all falls under the umbrella of the work corner. And they show you here getting into a new chapter in December. So it's very interesting, very exciting kind of push there for a lot of my Geminis. This can also be a card about long distance travel. We did talk about travel earlier in your spread here. This would be long distance travel, not like a couple counties away, a city away, maybe not even a state away. Maybe it's a few states away, maybe it's a country away. Long distance travel, whatever long distance means to you. And then we end with there is growth going here financially, or growth with health. The same suit applies to health and finance. So I have a hard time reading that. So it's usually one of the two. Usually it's not both. But they're letting you know here if it's health related, that things are mending very slowly, but it is moving in the positive trajectory, good direction there. If they're talking about finances, same energy. It's just taking some time. It's going to take some time to work out, to accumulate, that kind of deal. Slow growth. Don't forget that slow growth is still growth. Let's go to story 2. Good time for me to remind you guys too that the chemistry tracking, I should have brought that up earlier, but chemistry tracking, if you've watched chemistry tracking the last few months I've been doing that, I am still doing that. We're not talking about it here today, but that is going to be posted on scottsagent.com for free on the Talking About page. It'll also be posted on Facebook. So that way you don't just see your chemistry tracking. You can see your lovers, you can see your best friends, you can see your mom's chemistry tracking, see everybody, see the whole printout for the month, so to speak. It's just more inclusive. So check that out, guys. Let's get into your story 2. Story 2, the first thing we talk about is if you feel a little bit abandoned, Gemini, a little left out of something, this could be your story. They bring in the orphan card first, and this is basically saying, hey, you know what, you feel a little neglected here, a little left out to dry. It feels more family related. Maybe it has something to do with the Thanksgiving carryover as we enter into December, or things are just not going so well. They talk about that in a minute, but we show something unsuccessful coming in. That's what they're describing, Gemini. This is like something that you would have wished you would have accomplished maybe by now, or you wished this result would have been this result and you didn't get it, something like that. And it's just like it would be putting the trophy on the case, like an accomplishment, but it's saying like there's no trophy. Okay, so that's what they show here. We have the Lovers card inverted next, so that makes me feel more like couples, just not seeing eye to eye, maybe breaking up in December, not doing so well. Maybe some time apart too. All that kind of exists and potential if this is your story here in story 2. They're letting you know the home environment's not good either. Okay, so the home environment needs work. Energetically, it is coming in blocked, which is not good. We don't like that. We want nice flowing energy here. We don't have it with the home inverted. The next thing we show here is to nurture work. Okay, this is probably the way out of this, or maybe just the priority right now here for you if this is you in story 2. Nurture your work. Keep working on your work. Don't get kind of stuck into the small setbacks at work, because they show that. They show December, Gemini here, that you can have some things not go your way at work. But hang in there. Fight through it. It's worth it. And we know that next with my Sun card. Well, that's attached to the world, so let me read the world first. This is actually a good month here for my Geminis to take advantage of getting things done. Maybe the space from the Lovers or the reprieve from the Lovers or whatever this relationship between two people is not really working so well. You can use this to your advantage to check some boxes off, get some things done, get some projects done, wrapped up, all that kind of stuff. Because they're showing here that this something here is trying to shine through. It's my Sun card. It's inverted though. Sun is the best card in the tarot deck, but having it blocked, it's like the sunlight cannot get through, Gemini. You got to open up the windows to let the sunlight through. Okay, so there's something you have to do first, and it's like checking these boxes off. Okay, so it's a prerequisite. You got to get something done first so that this sunlight can shine. Okay, use this opportunity to get that stuff done. They show action here. Did I check that prince? I want to check just to make sure that's not a person. It's not. Okay, good. They show action here in the love corner. So there is it's not a situation that you just want to leave alone. It's not like space you just want to be like, oh, I'm taking my space, you take your space, and we'll figure this out later. They're saying, figure this out in December, okay? Regardless of if it works out beneficially or not, it just needs to be resolved. There's resolution that needs to be made here. They want you to use this time to get resolution with other things done, but then at the end of the month, they want you to come back and resolve this too, okay? Action in the love corner. The last thing we show here is not with new. Okay, so they want action in the love corner, but they don't want with new, like say partners. If you like, maybe if you're just newly single, something like that. Excuse me. December is not the time for new, for that. This can also be blocked new health. This can be blocked new finances. So it's like saying here that we want the action there, and this is just. There's something here that they're saying not the money, not the new money, not now. Okay, so that'll probably just maybe be for a few people, not my whole audience, but for those of you that understand that part, that's your part. Let's get into story 3, guys. Been a long reading. That's what happens when my table's full of cards. Good thing they didn't ask for any extra spread too. You can see why they designed that. We start by talking about a young person here who is working very, very hard. If that sounds like you, this could very well be your story. If not, it's probably not. Now, young person can be young at heart. It doesn't necessarily mean like you have to be in your 20s, but a lot of the times we do see it happen that way. Of course, like I said, time is fluid, so you could be in your 40s, be extremely young at heart, and they could be talking about you here. So focus more on the working hard. If you are working extremely hard, learning new things, trying to make more money, that kind of thing, for your family, more than likely this is your story. Here, I have my Princess of Cups and other decks at the page. It means young person. And I did have the secondary card come in where they told me it is about a person, so it definitely is. Now, they talk about how you got to be careful about not giving a crap here. Okay, so you have some tendencies to kind of let things go financially, or maybe they're even referring to health because, again, same suit means finances as well as health, usually not both. So figure out which way Spirit's trying to go from you here. You're either ignoring health or you're ignoring finance. Since we're talking about somebody young here, more than likely it is finance. Okay, so financially, we need to get some things straightened here, get the ship straight in the month of December. They showed to nurture your mindset. So really, you got to get it right up here first. That's the trick. There's some mentalities that you have that are screwing the whole thing up. Okay, and that's what needs to be fixed. They show that it is not the time for new businesses. If this is you here in Story 3, Gemini, it's basically saying no. The new business can wait. This is not the time in December. We don't want to be launching or getting a new job right now. It kind of goes to the beginning when they talked about the patient in Story 1. So you can kind of see the web that they weave here and see some commonalities between the stories. The last thing they wrap up with is flexible. So they want you here, Geminis in Story 3, to be extremely flexible. Do not be rigid. Go with the flow as much as possible. Don't be against the current, against the changes. They're going to happen regardless, so you might as well not fight it. Try to be go with the flow as you possibly can. That is what will benefit you the most in December. So there we go. Let's grab a Rune Stone, guys, and then I'm going to shoot you over to your moon cycles. Literally shoot you over. Blast you over. Here we go, Rune Stone Gemini. This is an important runestone. You got to hold this the right way or else it means something different. And this is, now that I know which one it is, this is the runestone of wholeness. Little Harry Potter lightning bolt. Very similar to another runestone I have that's defense, but that's not defense. This is wholeness. So they want you to find completion. We talked about that in Story 2. Was that Story 2 we talked about that? Yes, that was 2. Getting my numbers right. Story 2 we talked about completion, getting some things checked off, right? Wholeness. That is so that you can become whole. That's why they want you to resolve this thing here in Story 2 in December 2, so you can become whole. Wholeness here in Story 3 is getting to a place where you are whole because you're clearly not right now. Even though you're working hard, you're trying hard, there's something that you don't give a crap about. Maybe it's loose spending, spending everything you make. It would be an example of like what I'm looking at here. You work hard, but then you play hard and it's all gone, right? So they want you to get to a place where there's wholeness involved here. And you're not going to get to that with the new business. So just wait on that one, or the new hobby or interest, or the new job, or the second job for some of you. So find wholeness in Story 2 and wholeness in 1. A lot about another person here. And in fact, a lot of Gemini discussion here is about 2 people, and they did talk about multiple people multiple times in your spread. There's no doubt about that. So not just finding wholeness for you, but finding wholeness for the other people involved in your life in your December, and getting to a place where your finances are growing in Story 1, but it's just slow. So you just got to keep going. You got to keep playing the game, keep punching the clock. You got to keep going. And this other person, we want them to find wholeness too. So we hope that they're on the mend and getting better, and find ways to open up whatever it is that Spirit is saying that they're hoarding and holding back on. So there's wholeness through your different stories. Very good. So now we're going to blast you off now into the moon cycles and homily. Okay guys, it is moon cycle forecast time, and I figure what better place, what better environment to bring you the moon cycles than the lunar surface herself. So let's talk about some December, because oxygen is running low and I gotta get back to Earth so I can give you guys your homily. But first, let's talk about some December moons, shall we? The first thing that comes in December is the new moon. The new moon is the best time to attract new things and bring new things into your life. This happens on December 12th. Doesn't mean you have to do these things on December 12th, but earlier in the month is much better than later for bringing in new things. So whether it's something new with health, some new financial plan for the new year perhaps, maybe something new with love if you're trying to find some new love, earlier part of December is the best time to do this, guys. Something new with work, also early December, guys. The universe doesn't care what you use it for, but these lunar energies are already all around us, so why not use them to your benefit? I put together a moon cycle cheat sheet that you guys can check out on my website. It's free every single month, and that is a little graphic illustration to show you how these moon cycles move in and out. But before I let you go, let's talk about that full moon, because the full moon comes in the day after Christmas, December 26th. So the end of the month is the best time to get stuff out of your life, guys. Whether it's baggage, projects you need to get wrapped up and finished, maybe something you got to sell, something you got to get wrapped up, something toxic you got to get out of your life, maybe a person, maybe a bad habit. The end of the month is the best target date for these things. And again, the moon cycle cheat sheet is parked on scottsagent.com if you'd like to see a graphic illustration of this. But let's get back to Earth and deliver you your homily. All right, friends, welcome into your homily, December 2023 edition. My name is Scott Sagent, and the topic of this homily today is giving yourself the space to grow. And in the same way that outer space has no boundaries, it is infinite in every single direction, so are you as a spiritual sovereign being, child of God. The only restrictions that you have, that we all have, are the ones that we impose upon ourselves. So that's what we're going to be talking about a little today here. Stresses, anxieties, limiting beliefs, and of course fears. These are things that we impose upon ourselves that hold us down and do not let our higher selves reach our full potential. And we can see real, true examples of this in the physical world, because even though we're talking about spiritual here today, as above, so below, and there are physical, real world examples I can give you. The first one I'm popping up on the screen here, this is a picture of two basil plants. I got them posted right next to each other so you can see the size difference, the growth difference. These, I grew these from seeds, first of all, in my office, so they do not look like the basil plants that you probably see at your store, but that's okay. But for the sake of this video, you'll understand the difference here, because these seeds started at the exact same time. The only difference between them is the fact that one is in a larger pot than the other. One is in a smaller, more constrictive pot. And you can see the massive growth difference between the two. No other factors have changed except for that. But let's also talk about something that's called a plecostomus. This is an aquarium fish. It is part of the sucker catfish family. And these fish, like many wonderful animals, have the ability to adapt to their environment in a large way. These plecostomuses, these plecos, they can actually adapt their size to the tank size that is surrounding them, basically their environment. They're adapting to their environment. And this comes as probably a survival mechanism if you think about it, because if they get splashed into a puddle and they can't get back to the main hub of their lake, of their pond, well, now they're forced to grow up in this little constricted area. So of course there would be little benefit to growing to be the entire size of this puddle or their new tank. Of course that would be very detrimental to their health. They would not make it. They would be too big for their environment, right? So they have an ability to adapt their size and slow down their growth rate to the size of the tank. So what happens, this is my question for you: what happens if you remove these constrictions and restrictions on yourself? So for example, choose the thing that holds you down the most, that restricts you the most from the person you're trying to be and the places you're trying to go in life. Imagine how that would feel and how much better your life would be if that was out of the way. Imagine if that was solved, how much better and how much better of a trajectory you would be on as a person. You would feel fantastic, and you would feel like there's a big weight lifted off your shoulder too, and that there's maybe nothing holding you back. Well, this is all encouragement so you can go and attack that one thing, whatever that is. And of course, that is an inner game thing that takes some inner work, and that's not what this video is all about, but you gotta start somewhere. And the first thing you gotta do is bring awareness to the problem, and that is how you can start addressing it. How do I solve this problem? What are the things I can do? What is the inner work that I can do to get past this and live my best expansive life ever with no restrictions and giving yourself infinite amount of space? So I encourage you all to look at that one thing. And if you're very motivated, maybe look at a few things in your life that apply to this set of circumstances so that you can bring awareness to it and you can solve this inner work yourself and you can get these restrictions out of your way, because of course, none of us are ever going to win a race that we don't start. None of us are ever going to complete a project that we don't begin. There's only one way to start it, and that is with you. So that concludes your homily for December 2023. I thank you so much for joining the readings. I hope you have a great December, giving yourself plenty of space, and I know you will.
So I guess the fortune teller's right.